From the Oklahoman newsroom, it's time for a Varsity update. I'm Jenny Carlson here with high school sports beat writer Jacob Unruh. Jacob, it's week 2 of the playoffs, and that means semifinals for some of the classifications, including the biggest ones, the 6A1, 6A2, both in semifinals. And there's some juicy ones, especially in 6A2. Man, you've got great matchups. Stillwater facing Tulsa Booker T. Washington, Midwest City at Bixby. 2 really good games right there.
Yeah, right off the bat, especially locally, Stillwater undefeated, #1 team in 6A2. Gets Booker T, a team that I watched last week, really shine against Del City. They have Dax Hill, one of the top recruits in the country, #1 recruit in the state, going to Michigan, phenomenal football player. Stillwater, Gunnar Gundy, son of Mike Gundy, obviously got OSU connections a little bit there. Obviously Dax is Justice Hill's little brother, and you got that connection. You got Anthony Bland on OSU. You got Quantra Walker, who just set a couple school records for Stillwater. That's going to be a big-time matchup out in Jinx. It's a huge, huge game. The other side, Midwest City Bixby, is a rematch of last year's semifinals, where Bixby ended up winning, going on the championship game to lose to Booker T. Midwest City's kind of had this idea in their head the rest of the season, like we want a second chance. They feel like they let it get away in that first half last year, played better in the second half. Preston Colbert, our player of the week this week after accounting for 8 touchdowns last week, is playing really well right now at quarterback. He had a knee injury early in the year, kind of hindered him. Now he's mobile again. He's feeling great. And that's made Midwest City really dangerous. And
just to clarify, because I messed it up, both these are Friday night games, by the way, folks. Tulsa, Washington, Stillwater. That one is at Owasso, and then Midwest City Bixby at Jinx. I messed up the first one, so we'll just give those to you right. But those are semifinals, so winners go on to the finals. Now, the rest, most of your classifications are in second round. Got a little bit longer to go. But if people are trying to stay local, I got to think that Carl Albert game, I mean, they're rolling again, Jacob.
Yeah, another undefeated run for them so far. Actually, what's funny is Mike Corley, the head coach for Carl Albert's second year, has never lost a game as a head coach.
It's amazing.
They went 14-0 last season. Now they're 11-0, 25-game win streak. Last week, against El Reno, they were tied at 7 at halftime and then scored 21 unanswered in the second half. They're that kind of team that if you're going to play them tough, they're still going to have enough depth, enough talent in the second half. That they're going to be a tough matchup for Claremore, which I guess technically didn't upset Tulsa Edison last week, but I had picked Edison and Sevion Morrison there at the star running back, and things kind of reversed on them on that in the second time they beat Edison, and that's a big matchup. Another one, McGinnis, heads to the road to play rival Bishop Kelly. That's another huge game. McGinnis won, I think, on a last-second field goal the first time this season. And Guthrie, also from the same district as McGinnis, Carl Albert, heads to Collinsville, undefeated team, really good defense. Some big-time 5A matchups.
And those 3 teams from that same district right here in the city area, they could all move on, don't you think?
Yeah, I mean, you could end up getting Collinsville. It would be a Collinsville Carl Albert semi, and then you would get a Guthrie McGinnis semi, which would be, or actually no, it would be Guthrie Carl Albert semi. Sorry, in that case, and then McGinnis would be on the other side against Ardmore probably, and that would be huge.
Yeah, it would be huge to have all those local teams in that 5A. As you look down a little bit further, Jacob, Tuttle's still undefeated, another local team that seems to be rolling, but 4A. There's really not, I think every team, no more than 2 losses. So the 4A seems like a really tough classification.
It's really wide open. I mean, you've got Hilldale, who has played really well of late. They got up to kind of that. They had some slow games, and they've played really well. They're coming to Tuttle, one of the most physical teams I've seen all year. They've got a good quarterback, Carson Berryhill, big, tall receivers. They run the ball well. They're #1 for a reason. I mean, they've beat. Was it 2 top-ranked teams, top 10 teams in 4A, 2 top-ranked teams in 3A. They've played a tough schedule. Last week they handled a physical Anadarko team, and they're just going to keep getting physical from here because if they get Hilldale, if they win that, chance they get Poto, which is #2, another really physical, dominating team that could be really fun to watch.
All right, lots of games still left. Be sure to check game times. A few games have been moved to 7 o'clock instead of 7:30. And then those 6A1 semifinals, those are Saturday games. So make sure to check out your schedule. Don't miss your game. You wouldn't want to be there on the wrong day or at the wrong time. And be sure to stay with the best coverage team anywhere at newsok.com and every day in the Oklahoman.